Many college students are celebrating graduation and moving on to their careers.
But they're not celebrating the large debt
No.
many have racked up. It's hard to avoid, really. The amount of student loans are staggering. $1.3 trillion in student loan debt, total debt. 63% of grads leave college with debts. The average is about $27,000. That's the average, so it goes up from there. Today we're talking about ways grads can better deal with their debts.
Our money expert, Bruce Helmer, is here. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning.
I love this topic because I think that it's so daunting when you're starting your first job and you realize oftentimes your salary is less than what your student loan total payment is.
That's a great point, Kylie. And this is a huge issue. And to people watching that say, my kids are gone or my kids are young and this doesn't affect me, this affects everybody because there's such a ripple effect. We're turning young people loose in this society, getting their first job. We tell them you need an education to get a good job and get a good salary, but then they have student loans, so they're trying to pay rent and car payment and buy groceries, student loans on top of that. They have no money for savings and investments, so what happens? Parents step in. We often talk about the sandwich generation, so we're helping our adult children, maybe at the same time helping an aging parent, and there's a whole drag on the whole economy because now we're not saving and investing and spending money and driving the economy. So this is an issue that impacts everybody watching in my mind.
Hard to talk about this without acknowledging that at least there is a problem on the cost side of education.
Yes.
We're going to talk about what you can do when you have that debt, but there is another conversation. I mean, obviously the cost of education is what's causing a lot.
There's several conversations here, and that's an issue too. And I don't know if if private, for-profit colleges, if competition can bring that cost down. But the cost is overwhelmingly high, and it's appreciating at a rate faster than inflation. That's what causes the debt. So again, assuming you have the debt, what can you do about it? And again, it's like any other debt. You look at the efficiency of the debt, and you pay down the highest interest rate loan that you can first. But again, these young people, 22 years old on the first job, maybe don't have any extra money. But one of the things that we look at often, if mom and dad have some money and they don't want to just give money to the kids because they want them to have skin in the game and have paid their own way, but something called an intra-family loan. Mom and dad can make a loan, get a higher interest rate than they can get from the bank, so it's a good deal for them, but their adult child maybe pays a much lower interest rate to get this, the student loan paid off. Instead of 6 to 8%, it's 3 to 4%.
So regardless, this is going to take, for many people, quite a few years. Sometimes we're talking 10, 15 years. In that time, a lot of people have goals to buy a home, to look at purchasing bigger purchases like that. So where do you find that balance between, okay, I would like to be a homeowner, but I still have $10,000, $20,000, $40,000 in loans?
Yeah, again, then that's a great question because there's not an infinite amount of money. You have to prioritize, and so where do you put the priority of saving for a house versus paying down debt versus what we talk about all the time on this show, participating in a company retirement plan if there is one? Because if there's a matching contribution, we always tell people you have to do that or you're leaving money on the table. So the prioritization is tricky, and that's where sometimes someone like we can come in and help young people and say, look, here's your budget, here's how much money you have, here's what you do first, here's what you do second. But maybe the debt takes a back seat to some other priorities.
For parents watching right now, thinking about future college bills, best way to save?
Best way to save is still probably 529 plans and or educational IRAs. And again, most people watching are not going to be able to afford to pay for the whole thing. Don't beat yourself up, but you do what you can to try to minimize the debt you come out of college with.
Really good.
Oh,
Thanks,
tough
Bruce.
topic. Thank you. You can see